Hello Year 9, this is Lesson 3 of your Introduction to Media Studies. Over the last couple of lessons we've been talking in general about what media is and trying to get a bit more of an idea of your understanding of the media and what media you consume. Today we're going to start moving into our analysis of media language. So we're going to be talking about two key terms today, denotation and connotation. And you're going to be applying the ideas of denotation and connotation to a set of images and colours. Throughout this lesson, there'll be a few tasks for you to complete, some notes for you to take down, so make sure you've got a pen and paper ready, and I'll tell you when to pause the video. Okay, let's get started. So, I talked in the previous lesson about the 4 areas of the theoretical framework: media language, representation, audience and industry. For now we're just going to focus on media language, which is where we look at a media product and we say, this is what I think it's trying to do, this is the effect that I think it's trying to have. So when we study a media product, it is important to consider the meanings that are communicated. In media studies we analyse products using a system called semiotics. We need to consider each element of media language or sign that is used and consider the following. So we consider denotation and connotation, and this is a type of semiotics. Semiotics essentially means interpretation, and the language we use to interpret things. There's lots of new terms that will be put to you in this lesson, but it's essentially all about analysing, and it's the terms that we use in media studies to describe the analysing that we do. It's nothing too complicated, you'll see as I explain further. So our focus today is denotation and connotation. So words and images in media text can work on more than one level. You will come across these terms, denotation and connotation, throughout the course. There's something we'll always talk about, and they are important terms for you to understand. Now, do you have any idea what these terms mean? Have a think about it for a moment. Particularly connotation. In your English lessons, some of you may have come across the term connotation. Can you think what that means? What might these terms mean? Okay, so I will tell you, denotation is the straightforward, common sense meaning of a sign or an image. Literally, you're saying what is shown. So if you see a red rose, you can say that's a flower, it's a rose. That is denotation. Seeing an image of an apple, and you say, well, that's an apple, it's a fruit that we can eat, that is denotation. Very, very simple. Denotation just means you are saying what it is. Simple. Connotation then is the extra linked meaning that goes with any sign or image. So what it could mean or suggest beyond just what it is. So the connotations of a sign will probably be more personal than a straightforward denotation because they're to do with personal ideas and feelings about it. Connotations will not be the same for everybody. They are sometimes based on personal opinion, or they can be based on the things that other people have told you about this image or this thing that you're seeing that might be different from what other people think. So to apply that now, let's make it nice and simple. So a denotation here of this image, it's a rose, it's a flower. But if we think about connotations, the rose, the flower, could be a symbol of love for romantics. In Lancashire, it's a symbol for the country. It has been the symbol for political parties. Think about, Beauty and the Beast, the Gothic, it's Gothic imagery, the rose sometimes. So different connotations for the same image. So these are all connotations or extra layers of meaning that the image carries with it. Another example, the apple. So connotations of the image of an apple could be a symbol of health. An apple a day keeps the dentist away, or something like that. It can be associated with New York, which is referred to as the Big Apple. It can even stand for sin, if we think to the story of Adam and Eve and biting the forbidden fruit. So all these different connotations that come from the image of an apple. So all these are extra layers, extra meanings that the image carries with it. And whenever you use this image, all of those connotations come with it. What I'd now like you to do is make sure that you've got these terms written down with a definition. So denotation and connotation. Write these in your own words. Denotation is a straightforward common sense meaning of an image or a sign, so a rose equals a flower, and connotation is the extra linked meaning that goes with an image or a sign, so the rose could be seen as romantic. Make sure you've jotted those definitions down. I also want to talk about the term polysemic very quickly. So polysemic, something which communicates different meanings and can be interpreted. So polysemic, that word poly suggests multiple. It basically means something that's got multiple meanings. So like we were saying with the rose, it could be seen as romantic, but it could also be seen as gothic. The apple is healthy, but it could also be sinful. This is polysemic. They have multiple meanings. So if you could just pause the video here, make sure you've written down a definition for all of these terms: denotation, connotation, semiotics, and polysemic. And when you're ready, press play and move forward. Okay. I'm going to show you some images now, and I want you to have a go at thinking through denotation and connotation for each of those images. So one more example before you do a few more on your own. So we've got an image here. What is it? Give me a definition. I'll give you 10 seconds to quickly write down your definition. What's the denotation? Okay, so the denotation here, or what this image denotes, is a tiger, or a carnivorous mammal. What can a tiger represent though? So if you think through connotations, what does this image connote? What are the connotations of this image? Have 10 seconds, just write down first thing that comes to mind. Okay, so some ideas for you. Could suggest danger, power, something of beauty, graceful, wise, masculine. These are all sort of quite generic ideas that people have around the tiger. What you've written down is probably your own personal reaction to seeing an image of a tiger. I'd like you now to have a go on your own. I'm not going to give you any answers to these. I would like you to just look at these images and say, right, what does this denote? What does it connote? What are the denotations? What are the connotations? So if you pause each video and spend about a minute on each one thinking through. Okay, your second image. If you pause here, take the time to fill in the denotations and connotations. Your next image. Again, take about a minute here, just pause the video. And your final image. So again, 1 minute, pause the video and fill that in. Okay, so hopefully you've had a think through, thought of the denotations, connotations of these images, because these are the kinds of images that media texts will use, or media producers will use, when they want you to think something in particular. Images are used, and the things around the images are used to make you feel or think certain things. And it might be advertising something, it might be advertising a product and putting the fire on there to show danger, excitement, power, or it could be putting the leopard on there to show grace, the cheetah to show grace, speed, etc. So very important for us to start thinking about this denotation, connotation, and really getting our head around it. So hopefully you've now got a clear idea of those two terms and what they mean. Now the last thing we're going to do is apply the idea of connotation, denotation to colour, because we spend quite a lot of time thinking about the colours that are used in media products and why they have been used. It's just another sort of tool in our toolbox for analysing media language. So if you look at these two examples, these are both examples from GQ magazines, but very, very different in terms of colour schemes. So when I look at the issue on the left, I can see lots of blacks, reds and whites, and the use of those colours with the images that are around them and the fonts that are used suggests masculinity, power, confidence. When I look at the other front cover on the right for the GQ magazine with Billie Eilish on the front cover, it's greens, there's some yellow in there, and it's very, very different. And this one suggests more that it's alternative, that it's perhaps for a younger audience, and it's kind of using the image of the cover star to feed into all the other colours that are used. So colour is someone sits down and thinks a lot about what colour or what colours are we going to use on the covers of this magazine or on this product. So what I'd like you to do is think about these 6 colours that are on the screen now. The first one is done for you. So for red, the denotation there is it's red, but the connotations of the colour red, you've got danger, aggression, anger, or on the other side, passion, power, determination. Doesn't necessarily all have to be negative and positive. So I'd like you to think through the other 5 colours, take as long as you need to do this, and think through, try to have 3 positive words, 3 negative words for each one. Okay, I will leave you with that task. Before we go, I will just run through your fact sheet. So the facts we've covered today, what you should now know at the end of this lesson: semiotics is a system for analysing products using connotation and denotation. Denotation is the straightforward, common sense meaning of an image or a sign. Connotation is the extra linked meaning that goes with an image or a sign. And polysemic is when something communicates different meanings and can be interpreted in a variety of ways. So that should all be clear for you now. Complete the tasks, and I'll just leave this image up, so if you want to pause it here and have a go analysing those 5 colours, and I will speak to you in lesson 4. Thank you very much.